welcome to another edition of Blathercast Comics, where we talk about comic books, pop culture, and other general blather. I'm John.
And I'm Dave. Other general blather.
Well, you know, I'm trying to keep it PG or
Yeah.
something. G.
It sounds like, sometimes when you say it, though, it sounds like bladder.
So, you know, bladder. Hey, we're here to help you empty your bladder.
Ugh. So what's going on, John?
We're the laxative for your bladder.
So, hey, I wanted to say something real quick. I'm reading this American Gods novel by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
And it's like 742 pages. And I'm like 430 pages into it. And what's the point of this book? What's the point? What's the point?
It's the adventure of Shadow and Wednesday.
Yeah. That'd be cool if they were actually like in the middle part of the book. But they're not really. It's this version I got is like his first script, like not his first script, but it's like the
first edition type deal.
Yeah, a novel author's preferred text, which is like something extended or whatever, so it's got a ton more words in it. And I was like, yeah, I could totally see why the publisher cut some stuff out, because like in the middle of the book, like he's a good writer in the sense that he can describe stuff, like he could describe stuff really well, and he does good there, and his characters are fine and whatever. But he's like, you're not moving the plot along. Like, he took 20 pages to describe like setting up the apartment, and it's like, yeah, I don't that you had to put plastic on the windows and put space heaters, and I don't care. Like, move on with it. Let's go. I thought it was supposed to be like gods versus gods and stuff. Like, I don't. This is boring now.
You're really impatient.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long book. Like, let's go. Get with it.
Yeah.
Get to your main point. I think he's, I think he can describe.
I did not.
Yeah, but you don't read it. You listen to the audio.
Boy, what's the difference? It was 21 hours. I mean, that's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I am a little impatient, but it's like today, Junior. You know, I don't know. Get to it. Jesus.
I'm just about done with Hyperion talking about books, but first I wanted to grab this camera here. So I fixed my shelf. I want to show everybody because, you know, why not?
Okay.
So I built new shelves, and I don't know. They're okay, I guess. They were super cheap.
This is so interesting.
Hey, you know, I showed last week how they crashed on the floor, and I was so devastated. You know,
people are really worried about the shelves.
I put up new, like I tried fixing the shelves, like I moved the brackets and put them up, and it's just the books, I guess, are just too damn heavy, and they broke again. And of course, the only books that got damaged were my most expensive, like slipcased edition things that I paid like a shitload of money for on Kickstarter, which is a bummer. Like, I got the Squitter book in a slipcase, and like the slipcase has got like the cardboard's ripped off one part. Another book I got from Menton is ripped apart, like all the outside on the slipcase, and then the binding on one of the books is like peeled off. That sucks.
That does suck.
You know, but all the Marvel and DC stuff that I just bought at the comic shop that didn't come in a nice case, all of that's fine. None of that really got damaged.
That sucks.
Only the stuff that's really nice got damaged.
Yeah, all the stuff that's easily replaceable is not damaged, so that's good.
Right. Actually, if I bought some of that stuff that I got on Kickstarter on eBay, I'd probably pay half what I bought it for.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, but I'm
Seriously.
not replacing it. Screw it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just a bummer. Yep. Yep. So that yeah, so I'm about halfway. I'm almost done with Hyperion. This is it. So I read that book the first time like 10 years ago,
Hmm.
and you had asked me about it because you had saw it in the bookstore.
Yeah, like I did like this top 100 science fiction novel list or something I was looking up, and that came up and that looked really interesting, and I wanted to get it. I haven't gotten to it yet though.
So I went and got when I originally listened to that, it was on CD, and I worked at a college, so I would just get all kinds of audiobooks through the library system,
Yeah.
and I didn't have it anymore. Like I went in my library, I was like, oh, I don't have this book. So I bought the whole series over again. Well, I didn't buy it the first time. I borrowed it from the library. But
Hmm.
yeah, so I downloaded the whole thing, and I'm digging it. I, I really do love that book, and I love the poet. And when you read it, you'll know what I mean. At first, you're like, man, this poet's kind of lame. But then, like, his character just comes to life. And I think he's one of the only characters. There's like two characters from the first novel that actually carry on through all four books. Because it's a 4-book series.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Anyways, I really dug it.
Yeah, I really want to read that. It looked so cool. And then I talked to you about it, and I think I talked to another customer of mine, and they were like, "Yeah, it's really good." And I was like, I still got like 14 more books to get through. I shouldn't be buying anything uh, new until I actually finish the things that I already have.
Yeah, that's probably a good move. It's not like this book's going to go out of print anytime soon.
Yeah, and I mean, you could get it anywhere really. Uh,
So
yeah.
the other thing I wanted to talk about before we got into books or anything is everybody, and I've got it up here. You can take a look, some samples or whatever. But so we have shop.blathercast.com, and you can get some stuff with our logos on it, with stupid sayings and stuff like that on them. Like I got a little parody shirt that says "Move My Needle," and then has our logo on it. Uh, I thought it was funny, but yeah, shop.blathercast.com. So
We
go.
joke around about the needle hashtag, which I'm not making fun of it. Like,
No, it's a great hashtag to
great thing, right? But
support
like,
comics and in out.
move my needle, touch my needle,
Right. I just thought it was
insert my needle,
funny. Right. Share my needle.
share my needle. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, we've got iPhone cases, T-shirts. This is just a sample of some of the stuff. There's more stuff than this if you go. And I'm going to be adding stuff like every day. So we got dumb coffee mugs and that kind of stuff. I mean, awesome.
That's
They're the
cool.
highest quality coffee mugs you could buy. The
Yeah,
best.
this is high
No
quality
better.
stuff.
Right. Yeah, actually, some of the T-shirts, the hoodie, if you get the woman's hoodie,
Hmm.
which is actually a unisex hoodie,
Hmm.
I don't know why they called it a woman's hoodie, but that one's actually American Apparel makes it. I forget who makes the regular hoodie, but yeah, they're pretty cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
What
So
is that again?
shop.blathercast.com.
Shop.blathercast.com. Okay.
Yeah. Take credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, all that stuff.
Needles. No, no needle.
Right. No,
No,
yeah,
no needles. Don't
yeah.
share your needles.
And I don't take Bitcoin. We don't take Bitcoin. Sorry, folks.
Yeah,
We don't take any digital
crypto.
creepy currency. No creepy. If I can't pay my mortgage with it, I don't want it. That's all. You know,
Fair
I
enough.
can't be
Fair enough.
like, hey, Mr. Bank, can I pay my mortgage with my hash code here? They're like, no, fuck off.
No, we want real money.
All right. So, what did you want to talk about first?
I guess like I just finished WestWorld season 1 on HBO. I think season 2 had started. I think they're like 2 episodes in. I actually watched the first episode of season 2 because I had a free preview on HBO. But um, season 1, WestWorld. WestWorld is a TV show that is retelling or a different take on the 1970s movie by Michael Crichton, which you know from Jurassic Park. And it's basically Westworld is a huge, enormous, I guess, amusement park or attraction, I guess, they go to. And it's like going to an old West town, but the hosts are robots. And so all the people in the town that you interact with are robots. They can't hurt you. You can hurt them. There's certain rules. When it comes to the hosts, they can't hurt any living thing, actually. But they can hurt each other. And it's like all part of the show. So you go into the center. Rich people go into this. I think it was like the guy said it was like something like $40,000 a day or something. It's something outrageous that you go and there's a setup and everyone has a role to play. And there's a script writer and there's programmers and there's people that design all the sets and everything. It's just this massive, massive undertaking. And there's so many of these robots, or what they call them, hosts, in the city. And you don't really know the whole scope of the park, I guess, until you still don't know after the first season, but you know that it's huge. And like in the center of the city is the safest. And as you go out to the outskirts, it gets a little bit, more adventurous, I guess. So you've seen the show, right, John?
Yeah, I watch Westworld at Game of Thrones time. So when Game of Thrones comes back on in 2019 or whenever it's coming back, I will catch up on season 2 of Westworld.
So you watched season 1, though.
I did. I watched it during the last season of Game of Thrones.
So there's like a lot of Anthony Hopkins, which is Ford, who's like the creator of this whole park, and he had a partner. There's just this twist with his partner Arnold, or Bernard, in the show that's like I did not see coming. I was like, oh, what the heck? But I think the show is really, really, really done well. Sci-fi Western, at least for the first season. You have the real life stuff going on. And then you have everything that's going on in the park. And they also did something where they told a story and it was a flashback, but they didn't tell you it was a flashback. So you thought it was happening current day, but it wasn't. And that was a really cool twist, too, in the show. But every episode looks fantastic. They filmed on location. I'm not exactly sure where, but it's beautiful. And my theory is that Westworld is just one part of it because we've seen other characters or other hosts that wouldn't fit in the old West town. So I think that this whole park is way bigger than they can even imagine. And there's like probably different settings, like you're in Old West or you're in ancient Rome or this, that, and the other thing. So I think it's this huge world that they go to, and there's just certain parks that you would go to.
So this really reminds me of a book. Um, I know this. You're saying this was based on a book by Michael.
No, it was based on a movie. I don't think there was ever a
Oh,
novel
so
of it.
Michael Crichton just did the.
Movie. He directed the first movie, and then there was like a sequel to it called Future World, and then they did like a short-lived TV show that only like aired like 3 episodes and only made like five in the 80s, I think.
So I
And
thought
then
this
they
was
they
based
came back
on.
with this
I
show.
thought this was based on the TV show originally. I didn't
No, it's
know.
based on
I
a
didn't
movie.
know it was a movie.
Yeah, I have the movie and I was gonna watch it, but somebody borrowed it before I could watch it and never gave it back. So that's cool.
You should probably find that person and um, cut them off from
Oh, I
any
know who
other
it is.
borrowing.
Yeah, I know who it is. They know.
Uh, so yeah, it reminds me of the Dream Park series by Larry Niven and Steve Barnes.
Yeah.
And there are all these. So that's like a 4 or 5 book series, and each one takes part in a different theme park, but it's the same thing. It's like an adventure. Like you go and like it's either fantasy or one's like based on the moon, and another one's like a voodoo thing.
What I think is really interesting about the WestWorld is like you could go there and you could be the hero. Like there'll be like certain missions you could take. Like the guy's like, "Hey, this guy is out in the woods. You look like a strong man to come and help me get this bounty or whatever." So you could like be the you could be the hero, or you could be a villain. You could do really really terrible things to these people. Like you could be whoever you want to be in this world, or it shows you who you really are. And you could go to the brothel and just spend your whole time banging the freaking hookers. Like it's just really weird that it looks so lifelike,
Like you can do
and
whatever you want, and there's no real consequences.
there's no real consequences. I mean, they can't kill you, but as the show goes on, you can see that they could hurt you, or but they won't leave like any kind of lasting mark, I guess. Um, I don't really know how the guns work. Like, I never quite understood that how the guns don't kill you. Like they look really, really real. But as the show goes on, more and more of the hosts are starting to get like self-aware and remembering um, their past lives because a lot of the hosts were reprogrammed. So like the guy was police chief for a couple of cycles or a year, and then they reprogrammed him to be the father of one of the characters, Dolores. And you know, like they would take you out of different roles, and you could just get replaced. And so, like your memory gets wiped, and you just get replaced into a different role. And some of the characters started kind of remembering these things because they did this update on memories, and it kind of made them start thinking, and they're finding out that hey, we're not real. We were created by these other people. So yeah, I don't know. It was a very interesting show. I really, really, really liked it. I think it was really well done, really well written, really well acted.
Yeah, Dream Park is similar but different, and there's basically the first book is a murder mystery. Like somebody gets murdered in the park, and like their security person like goes undercover in the game to figure out who the murderer is, and they want to keep it all under wraps because they make a ton of cash.
These are novels?
Yeah, Larry Niven. He's one of my favorite sci-fi writers. He did the Ringworld series.
Yeah, I read a original graphic novel he did with the Green Lantern, and it was like John Byrne art, and got something I can't remember what it was, but
It was all
yeah, it
yeah, it
was
was
cool.
all about the Guardians. I believe that book was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah, yeah, that Westworld reminds me of that. I liked Westworld. I did see that guy was the young guy and the old guy. I realized that they were the same guy.
Yeah, the Man in Black.
Uh,
Yeah.
it was there were only a couple episodes left when I had kind of figured it out, but
I totally didn't figure it out. I was like,
I
oh,
hadn't figured out that the assistant or whatever the was actually a robot.
Bernard. Yeah,
Yeah, I hadn't figured that out. I was like, what?
I started kind of like thinking things about him. Like this is something's weird. Like something's off. And the way that they played with like the timeline too was interesting to me because they would show you a scene, but they're not necessarily would be present day. And you might think it's present day, or you might think it's Bernard, or you might think, you didn't really know who Arnold was until until they revealed that. So I thought it was
They did
really cool
they did
show.
a really good job. I hope that the second season is as good.
Yeah, so I watched the first episode last night of the second season that I had taped, and it was really good too.
Did
So,
you tape that on your
and then
VCR?
I DVR'd it. I don't know, what do you call it? I taped it.
Yeah, I guess. On your reel to reel.
Yeah, I was like splicing film and stuff. It's weird.
I just set up my 8mm camcorder. Anyways,
I was I was just set up I was filming it from my phone on the screen. I literally just set up. Oh, so what did you have a book you wanted to talk about, or
not really. I
you didn't have any comics you read?
No, I'm still working through the Flash, and I haven't read my new issue of Days of Hate. I did read the next run of Avengers Back to Basics. I don't know if we talked about this on the show or not. I don't think so. But
No.
it was better. It still is not great, but it wasn't. It was a more straightforward story. So Magus shapeshifts into Captain Marvel, a Skrull Captain Marvel, though. And he uses it to get into Avengers Tower to take over something, and the old Hulk, the bad Hulk, with the beard and stuff,
Yeah.
ends up coming in to save the day. But it was more of a action driven. It was more of what I was looking for when I read that book. It still wasn't super awesome or anything, but it was better than we're coming to destroy your world because of sexual harassment. So it was better than that storyline.
Yeah. A sexual harassment demon.
It just blows my mind.
It does. It's crazy. It's pretty funny. I don't know. I guess why not?
Back
Whatever.
to basics. If anybody wants to throw up, the first two issues will make you do that.
Fantastic.
All right. So you've been liking the art from the East lately.
Yeah, I've been reading some manga here. Um, like I said before the show, I watched One Punch Man on Netflix, and I loved it. And so I went out and I got all the books on it, and I read all those, and I really, really loved it. And then a couple of people that I talked to on Twitter, Grand Comics, Nine, Underground Geek, all those guys on Twitter, Norn Rad, I think that's it, that I was talking to about with manga stuff, and they told me to read Berserk, My Hero Academia, and Overlord. So I've been reading My Hero Academia, and I'm like halfway through the third volume. And it's crazy to like laugh at comics or books out loud. I haven't done that in a while when I'm reading like Marvel comics, at least. Sometimes DC, I'll get like a chuckle, but like this book is funny. Like it's got a good sense of humor to it. It's about this kid who they have these. There's a world where everyone gets like powers basically, and they're called quirks. And like by the age of like 4 years old, you would have a quirk or you'd be quirkless, and everyone's like born with it. And a lot of people try to get into this hero academy to become a hero and help save people. And there's also villains. There's heroes and villains too. So there's bad people that have powers as well. But this kid, he has an idol called the All Might, and this guy is like all powerful. He's the best superhero ever. He just kicks ass. He's the best. So this kid that's quirkless, he is trying to get into the Hero Academy and trying to get accepted without having any powers. Um, he kind of shows that he's really, really brave in a situation where All Might almost loses, and he kind of hitches a ride with All Might, and All Might's like, "Hey man, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this." And they land on this building, and All Might turns into this really, really skinny, sickly guy. And the kid's like, "Hey, what the heck's wrong with you?" And he's like, "A couple years ago, I got in this fight, and it almost killed me." And he's got this big scar on his chest, and he's like, "I could only use my power for like 3 hours a day, and it's getting worse, and I'm dying basically." And this kid's like, "Oh my god." So eventually All
When you
Might,
get to the funny part, that sounds fucking depressing.
well, there's funny parts in the book. Like there's a kid, he's just like, I don't know, I posted some stuff on Twitter where the kid's like, "Oh man, we're gonna die. I just wish I would grab her boob, or I wish I grabbed her boob once," or whatever one of the characters. Or he's like, "For a frog girl, she has nice boobs," or whatever he said. And it's just kind of funny. And then he eventually like pops a field, and she like tries to drown him while he's in water.
Man, I hope they don't
No, but
start
there's this.
hiring people like Marvel has.
Yeah, they probably won't. I think we're safe. But anyway, this is this is super popular book. So it's like I think it's got like 18 volumes now that are released in the United States. I'm sure anyone that's listening to the show has already heard about this book and knows what it's about. But I just really enjoyed it, and I just thought I would share.
Excellent. I think I will check that out at some point.
Yeah, I can get those through Diamond, which is nice.
So you can follow me at Johnny Redbeard.
And you can follow me at Second Prince.
Don't forget to hit the little subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Check the little ding notification thing so you actually know when we make a new video. And check out shop.blathercast.com. And buy some swag. Also, if anybody wants to submit art, you can send that to John at blathercast.com. If we decide to use that on a t-shirt or anything like that, you'll get your choice of 10% of nothing if it doesn't sell. you no you you know, we'll work something out if we decide to put it on a t-shirt, but you'll get paid with something, you know. But I'd love to see t-shirt ideas and art or whatever. When you send it to us, we will be, you're giving us permission to use it basically. So but if we decide to use it for something that actually generates income, then we'll work something out.
Right, right.
All right, another issue
In the bag.